Shalom from Karen Biavna. When Yaakov Avinu realizes that his life is coming to an end, he gathers his children together and he gives them brachot. To be more precise though, to most of them he gives brachot, to some he gives them sharp rebuke, gives them musar. Rashi does say that there was a bracha given to all, but certainly with respect to Reuven and Shimon and Levi, predominantly it is musar, criticism. Reuven is criticized for his involvement with Maaseh Bilhah, and Shimon and Levi for the story with Shechem. But one thing seems to be missing from the musar that Yaakov Avinu is giving his children. After all, one major life event that took place with respect to Yaakov and his children was, of course, Mechirat Yosef, the selling of Yosef. Why does Yaakov not give musar to his children concerning the selling of Yosef? So the three approaches that Bezrat Hashem will discuss briefly. Rashi takes the position that, in fact, Yaakov does give musar. When Yaakov Avinu tells Shimon and Levi, Ba'apam hargu ish, Ritzanam ikru shor, Rashi understands this is a reference to the sale of Yosef. Shor, after all, in Sefer Dvarim is a word which is associated with Yosef, B'chor shoro hadar lo. Why is it that we'd only be giving musar to Shimon and Levi? Well, Rashi makes some calculation that it was mainly Shimon and Levi that were involved in the sale. Okay, that's one approach one might take, although we do normally assume that the other brothers were involved in the sale to some extent as well. The Ramban would take the following position. The Ramban in last week's Parsha told us that Yaakov Avinu never found out about the sale of Yosef. After all, the brothers were afraid to tell Yaakov what sort of sharp musar Yaakov Avinu might curse them. They didn't want to tell Yaakov. Yosef, due to his great level of righteousness, didn't reveal to Yaakov that he was sold, and he made up some story that he was kidnapped and sold down to Egypt. It's interesting that the brothers, they certainly did assume that Yaakov heard from Yosef about the sale. After all, that's what would appear from that which takes place after Yaakov dies. The brothers come to Yosef and they tell Yosef that Yaakov told them that, or sent instructions to Yosef that he should forgive the brothers for that which they sold him. So certainly if you assume that Yaakov never heard about the sale, therefore he doesn't give them musar. But there's an additional approach, a third approach, taken by the Abarbanel. The Abarbanel understands that Yaakov realized that although the brothers did sell Yosef, it was something that was not done out of Bechira. It wasn't done out of their free will. Although generally speaking, we live in a world which we have free choice. Nevertheless, the Abarbanel points out there are exceptions to that rule. The pasuk says in Mishlei, the beginning of Perek Chaf Aleph, Leiv Melech Biad Hashem Al Kol Asher Yachpotz Yatenu. The heart of kings, the heart of leaders are in the hands of God, and God will direct the hearts of those leaders in whatever fashion HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees fit. The idea is there are certain critical junctions in history where HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants history to take a certain course, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will place in the hearts of certain individuals that they should do certain things that otherwise they perhaps wouldn't have done. And this is in fact what took place with respect to the sale of Yosef. The brothers, perhaps, their animosity was something that was based on their bechira, but the actual sale, the Abravanel understands in somewhat of a literal fashion, lo atem machartem al sihena, lo atem shlachtem al sihena, ki im ha'elokim. Parenthetically, the Rambam in Mora seems to understand the pasuk differently, although the Rambam himself does acknowledge there are situations where one's bechira is taken away, such as with respect to Paro. In any case, the idea over here is that there are certain junctions, certain times in history, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be directly involved in determining what's going to happen to the Jewish people. In general, it is so important for us to remember that our own personal lives, and certainly the history of the Jewish people, is not something which is just based on chance, to make all sorts of calculations, what would have been, what could have been. That is not meant to be our main focus. We're meant to realize, Hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Meant to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching over us, and although we certainly do need to do our hishtadlus, let's remember that a major role in what happens to the Jewish people is our connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, our masim tovim, and our realization that Habar Yisbach Shmo, Hu manhig l'chol habruim, hu levado asa, v'oseh, v'yaseh, l'chol ha'ma'asim. Shabbat Shalom.